I give people grace because if life taught me something, it's shown me that no one is just one thing. You saw me on Monday and I felt amazing. I woke up like I could move mountains. I felt my life was changing. I felt present, invested, fed, hydrated, well rested. I had a spring in my kick. You saw me Tuesday and we spoke loosely. I was preoccupied, please excuse me. I had 101 things to do that day. We spoke Wednesday and I was sort of happy but also irritated. I was short and snappy. Thursday we cried together. Friday we shouted. Saturday we lost our way. Sunday we found it. The thing is, I was me every day that week. But as humans, our experience of life is fluid, meaning we can experience more than two things. It doesn't mean we are two-faced. It just means we are human. You know, you could be the same person just with versions. You are you when you are your best self, living your best life. You are also you when you are the worst one. I find humans humorous. We can recognize the good in people, but when it's not to our desire, we discard them like I ain't nothing like this. We are in a time of little long-term value and high inflation. This is a cost of love in crisis. So when I give my heart to you, it's to even parts that have no desire to me, because I don't just love you for the parts that you are, I love you for you entirely. This is something I've had to embrace. We can all be amazing and make mistakes. So when I humble myself, put my ego and self-righteousness aside, I guess it's easier to give other people grace. And don't be defined by how people find you. Once upon a time I asked, mirror, mirror on the wall, I come to you, walls and all, who do you see in front of you? Because the monkey told me I was too weak when I couldn't swing from tree to tree. The tiger told me I couldn't speak when my roar wasn't loud. The birds told me I couldn't hang until I learned how to fly. I asked the mirror, it replied, why do you seek to be defined through someone else's eyes? I said, because the grass said I need to be more green. I asked the sky, it said I weren't enough blue. The mirror replied, why do you seek to be defined through other people's view? Why do you have to mold depending on say-so? Are you trying to be Play-Doh or Plato? With all the faces I've seen and shown through a reflection, I've discovered something. The secret, if you really aspire to be liked by everyone, then be nothing. I asked the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who do you see in your view? It replied, I only see your reflection through my perception. But only you has the authority to define you. The most romantic words I ever heard were, I understand you. And in ways I don't know you, I plan to. I heard that love was a verb yet so absurd because I will watch you fall and still land you. The most romantic words ever heard were, I'm listening. Let's try respond to this world we're co-living in. And even when we tire, we still will like Michelin. The most romantic words I ever heard were, my love is for and with you, like it was sketched, designed, crafted, fine-tuned, just to fit you, like I accept I am not a perfect being, but I am perfect when with you. The most romantic words ever heard were, I see my journey in you, and for what it's worth, I will walk from pole to pole on this earth, as long as that distance is with you, because the most romantic place in this world is that view from the hill in your safe space. The strongest words I ever heard were, let's fix this. And at times where we find love hard, let's remind ourselves exactly why we're in this. A friend of mine once said, beauty's nice to look at, and yeah, money gives us peace of mind. But if you really want to find love, first find someone who is kind. And let all the other checkboxes run behind. Not to say they're not important too, but before I hold the keys to your heart, one needs to see how your interior is designed. How have you arranged your furniture? Don't be fooled and fall for what's beautiful to find portraits hanging behind broken walls where the boards are cracked and the paint is peeling. Look for someone who's kind for no reason. Someone who's kind when no one's watching. Kind with no end game. Someone who can just be kind because it's a Wednesday. Someone who still chooses kindness when they could have been anything else. Because beauty is nice to look at and money gives us peace of mind. But if you really want to find love, first, find someone who is kind and let all the other stuff fall behind. I think my problem is I've been sensitive to bullshit when things have occurred. But when I'm in my feels, it feels like everything hurts. But I still stay double bluffing, I'm shuffling cards. No, they ain't tricks on the sleeves, no, they ain't diamonds, they're hearts. And mine's been dying to shine, some have been blind when they see. I've seen relationships hit rock sink in the sea. I had to split ways, I've been Moses parting the waves. And you don't know the half, we weren't no drop in the oceans for me. How many times I heard the versions of shit that I said? How many times I heard stories of things that I did? I just closed my ears, fuck the whole version of the events. And as sad as it is, fuck it, I let that narrative live and let characters die. My homie told me life was a play and actors will lie, but killies on stage ain't none of this stage. When curtains are drawn, you tend to see who had positions in play and who really applauds for you. And life's a wave, but this ain't one for the streamers. I guess I always thought this chapter would have some more features. On Father's Day, why we celebrating? Shit was all the same, don't play no mind. I just mind my business till my daughter came. Was 27, held it in my arms, imposter syndrome. But now I get it, so it broke my heart when I left the home. My daughter showed me I am not a hero, but to her I be. On Father's Day, she told me I'm the greatest, meant the world to me. She made a card and drew a little heart and did it with no help. But if she knew what my heart looks like, she would've drew herself. On Father's Day, just know Daddy loves you. I ain't heard the words, I felt the pain. Confusion in myself, didn't know my worth. I made my peace, I had to close them doors, that was big of me. And I released anger in my soul, and it was gripping me. On Father's Day, had to find the answers, had a bag of questions. Who am I? Do I know myself? I was second guessing, wanting more for me. I lost respect for all authority, and that was worrying me. I had to call a truce for Father's Day. How do you speak to yourself? Do you use kind words? Are they positive? Are you honest? Because I hope you tell yourself you are amazing and take a note of the growth you're making in a paradigm that's forever changing. I hope you tell yourself you're important too and describe yourself with words such as beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely stunning. I hope to yourself you are encouraging. I hope you talk to yourself with care and you tell yourself you deserve love as much as anyone else here. I hope you don't downplay you and focus on the things you aren't. I hope you give yourself a chance. I hope you remind yourself that you too can bloom. I hope that inner voice is the kindest, loudest voice in the room. I hope you don't speak to yourself in a way you despise. When you speak to yourself, I hope you are kind. A friend of mine once gave me some advice when I was down and in my feels. They said, take the time you need, of course, but don't take forever to heal. You know, I found that when we're hurt, we replay scenes that make us feel worse. But you know, you owe yourself the biggest bounce back. And even if there's an ounce that still feels that vendetta, fine, but be aware of time because it doesn't serve you to feel like that forever. You owe yourself the biggest FU to all the things that came to test you. You owe yourself the biggest comeback story for every time you felt sad and sorry, for every time you felt prisoner to your feelings. You owe yourself freedom. Because a friend of mine once gave me some advice when I was down and in my feels. They said, take the time you need. Take the time you need. But don't take forever to heal. Real talk. People do not belong to us. They are not items. We do not own them, regardless of how much we may need, love, or like them. So when someone chooses you, that's just beautiful. It's saying, I'm not property, but I'm yours as long as you love me properly. It says, I cannot be purchased, but I am yours as long as this is all worth it. It says, you do not own me, but I'm yours depending on the care you show me. It says, I cannot be sold, but value me or I go. I am not for sale, but I'll be an asset if you treat me well. Water me and I'll grow for you like your flowers. Because people do not belong to us, but if we treat them right, they're ours. I am not an item. I cannot be bought in stores. But if you treat me right, I'm yours. Lately I've been waking up and feeling grateful. I could see them demons, but I see them angels. You'd be so surprised what a brother done to make it through the mud. Brick Lane, I was flipping bagels. Family and drama. Try sitting people down and get around the table. Try resolve them issues, but the brothers feeling pain that they won't admit to when I don't have them answers. No, I don't have solutions. No, I don't stay idle. I worshipped fake idols. I gave out real love to brothers that weren't proven. Someone once told me real love don't come with confusion. So I don't play with hearts, I hit one for illusions. No. Been so lied you can never believe. So when I had to go and grow shit, I did it for me. And no, it didn't take a day, no, I built it in pieces. My boy went and found peace, said he did it for Jesus. I thought that shit was beautiful, I just couldn't believe it. Damn, I wish I could though. I think it takes faith just to feel this great. I went and lost the world, but I still found grace. I keep telling the man that we need to talk, bro. I was chopping up with one of my boys a few afternoons ago. I was like, oh, go on, my brother, what are you telling me? My guy opened up like a loose door, said he's feeling off the hinges, trying to work out how to balance these negative images. He's holding on by inches. I looked my boy in his face. I felt that energy. He was like, Lou, I'm just trying to stay strong mentally, but sometimes sitting in the mud just buries me. I looked my boy in his face. I felt that energy. But this was his moment, so I had to respect. Deep down, I'm trying not to project, but certain things he said hit a nail in my chest because I felt that energy. But this game's crazy. I told my boy certain L's, you've just got to charge them. You've got to believe in your own seeds and plant them. You've heard that quote, you don't reap same day what you sow. But my brother, I've got your back like your whole garden, my brother. When the game gives you L's, keep charging. But you open up to me, so I appreciate it more so because we're man them. We tend to keep that bottled up in our torso. Shrug it off and say, well, we're used to this inner war. So? Listen, I've seen too many men lose their minds and never find home. That's why I keep trying to tell the man them we need to talk, bro. Every time my mate loses it, he has the same routine. He might roll up some weed to numb it down, pour a glass of Hennessy. He once said, once I have that, I'm good. That's all I need. That's the remedy. But to be real, I think my boy needs therapy. My boy told me about the times he's been down and how it's not always down to him. But once he has a liquor or some stout in him, he could block out all the outside noise. Said he feels like it's grounding. And it's fun to be around him. But I think my boy needs counselling. I've always wondered, is this really what's best for him as he finds it hard to reach out to next of kins, losing it anytime someone has so much stands next to him. He said, I can't express myself the way you do, bro. All this anger and rage, I've just kept it in. So choosing sedatives to play down the effects of things. I'm not sure if my boy needs medicine or mentoring. He said, the wave makes the pain go away. But then the pain makes the wave want to stay. And I've waved away good friends looking for good times because in life that's hurting. Sometimes sedatives seem to be the only thing working. Working or numbing. The fact is at times the difference is semantics. But what do you do when you want to feel nothing and something at the same damn time? When my boy is feeling down, he said he just needs weed and Hennessy. I think my boy needs therapy. Every time my boy is feeling down and kicked in, he said he needs something grounding him. I think my boy needs counselling. Every time my boy said he feels like he's folding, he just pops another bottle open. I think my boy needs consoling. My guy said he just needs a loud cue every time he feels awful. And I think he just needs someone to talk to. Therapy. Reasons we need love. So the world won't look so hostile and you could be kinder on yourself. To know what it means to be felt, to be held, to know what it feels like to be touched in more ways than with the hands, lips or tongue. Reasons why we need love, to be more gentle. To allow us to explore the depths and details of ourselves and not just the stencils. To balance our hormones so not everything gets seen as a war zone. To draw the line between those who really have our hearts to those who just want to do us harm. Why we need love, to find calm. So we can pour from our cups without feeling like, this has emptied me. Where we can disagree with empathy. We need love like the air we breathe. We need love like we need grace. We need love to remind us we are human too. And love provides a space for mistakes. We need love to remind us we matter. We need love to believe we are seen. We need love to remind us we are valid. We need love because we are human beings. You need love to humble you. And one of the most powerful human things we could do is to never forget the power of what love can do for you. Mountains bow to her, nations declared war when they found her. She the gem, everywhere she goes a sense of grace follows. To you, I'm always a student. I loved you when I pictured you a goddess, but never fully appreciated you until I saw you a human. And with all your flaws, I'm still in awe. How did you lead me through the dark when you wasn't even sure of the road ahead? And when you were running on empty, that's when you truly gave more. And you aren't made of anything special. I mean, you are as ordinary as all the other Amazon women we read about and adored. You are as ordinary as all the other women that helped shape this world. And I've taken you for granted. Thinking you were made of magic, assuming you were floating on this majestic level. It wasn't until I realized you were just a regular human being. I said, damn, this is special. Mistakes justify all the times you've tried. I thought you had the heart of 1,000 horses when I saw you run. Little did I know you were tired. And every time you cried, my world flooded. Your tears were oceans to me, and I was always chasing waterfalls. I always thought you had the kindness of an angel. It wasn't until I realized you were just a regular woman. I said, damn, this is beautiful. I see men and women every single day, but there's something about you that is slightly unusual, and for that, I apologize. I should never have assumed. When I saw you flying from building to building, I just thought, well, that's what superheroes do. Because I've been spoiled by greatness. I've come accustomed to amazing. I always thought that cape was part of your costume. I never saw you changing. And for that, I apologize of taking you for granted. I was too busy assuming. I loved you when I pictured you a goddess, but I adored you. I adored you when I realized you were only human. Mom. Self-belief is probably one of the hardest things to hold. You want to unfold, but your mind's been told, maybe no. Maybe it's not you. It's probably not the time. Whilst the clock stays ticking, we're only wishing for a life. I say, you have to believe in yourself like the birds who believe they can sing. Like how you believe in tomorrow, you need to believe in yourself like the seeds believe in soil. Like, do you know how many times I thought I could be a whole force if I just believed in my source? You know how many times I fought with my inner thoughts thinking, damn, why am I feeling so choked after looking around, counting everything to blame? I just see my hands on my throat. I spoke to someone I know. They said, with all that wishing and hope, your favorite day must be one day. One day, one day, one day. But sometimes that's just how life goes. Do you know how hard it is to have faith in a thing you only see when your eyes are closed, and inside sometimes you're closed? Then you wake up, smell the coffee, and poof, it goes. But just like belief, doubt doesn't last. Sometimes we just get a spark, a flame where we question our thoughts, our inner doubts, and why we even entertain. And then we see a glance of what things could look like if we just gave us a chance. Then we fall back to wondering one days. Let me tell you about one day. Do you know how many legends I know that could have been one day? How many friends, a few of those, that didn't see one day? I sit and wonder if one day my dreams will just turn on and I realize life is just passing me by and one day has been and gone. No more wondering one days. And do you know how hard it is to forgive? Often it feels as though I'm not being loyal to me. Like, how you gonna let them slide on this? They did da-da-da. Made you feel blah, blah, blah. Internal dialogues makes opening my heart so hard. It's like, I'd rather hold on to the stone that burns me too than to forgive you. I once heard forgiveness is for those who deserve it. I also heard forgiveness is love when it's working. I once heard forgiveness shows the weakness in a person, but I've also heard the one who cannot forgive is really the one hurting. Do you know how hard it is to let go when you haven't been dealt with well? And due to trauma, that pain reminds you of every other pain you felt. Do you know how hard it is to forgive? Probably as hard as it is to say sorry. We find it so hard to forgive as though we've never hurt nobody, as though we've never fumbled some things too. And as righteous as we may feel, sometimes forgiveness is the most powerful and the most humbling thing to do. But God forgives, I don't. I'm not going to lie, I'm emotional, but like some people really done me some things and I'm kind of... I once heard love is irrational and it makes no sense, but it's not meant to. You're meant to say, I trust you with every part of me wholeheartedly. My defense has been released and I give you the keys, the paperwork for the lease. All I ask is you take care of it, please. Falling in love is irrational and it's better that way because the moment it makes sense, it's broken. You're meant to say, I will allow my heart to be stolen and trust the person I've chosen won't leave me prey to strays. Instead, I pray they stay even when the doors are open. Love is ridiculous and our hearts know no better. As soon as we make sense of it, we start defending it. Do you know how bad my heart's been broken? And you want me to do this all over again? Okay then. Love is an oxymoron. I heard to fall in love, we must be stupid. Because think about it. With all the barriers we have to overcome, if we try to make sense when we're falling in love, we'll never do it. Because it's stupid. I think about it. Do you know how many times? And I think it's time to cut you off. And I don't say that lightly. It pains me to break away, but I feel pain when I stay. And I'm morally compromised, it's true. I once heard people are like perfume. They may smell good, but can be poisonous if consumed. So I think it's time to cut you loose. People do us foul, acting holier than thou, oblivious to their scenes, and sometimes you have to let their narrative play out and snip from the seams. In order for me to rest in peace, I must mourn you. I stand over the ashes of bridges I've burnt, wishing I learned sooner that sometimes what we try to keep alive is destroying us inside, and it's best to cut them ties. I'm not perfect. I'll make mistakes and hopefully I'll learn the lesson. But I used to think communication was key and that's all we need until I realized it means nothing without comprehension. And I still say more compassion is needed in all of us. But there's a thin line between having patience and making excuses for people's triggers and traumas. And I think it's time to cut you off. I think people can be addictive. They often represent a period of time, and through every encounter we relive it. And instead of the uncertainty of anything different, we find comfort in what we already know and accept the pain that comes with it. Some people in our lives grow to be valuable, others are just too expensive. And while I juggle my finances trying to cut costs, my bank account says I need to cut you off. When someone treats you good, woo, you glow different. You walk around like, look at me now. You see this happiness? It's new season and we did some spring cleaning. When someone treats you good, when you do better, that smile starts smelling like new leather. It's a shame because we do remember how short and precious life is when it comes to funerals. But why when someone dies, we recognize the beauty of life? Isn't that what love's meant to do when someone treats you good? And I mean really treat you well. You really become yourself who you mean to be instead of the one you need to be to protect yourself. That frequency is different when you change your tune instead of trying to survive in conditions that weren't made for you. Nature knows you were meant to evolve that way. I once heard love is like music because when it hits you feel no pain, and when someone treats you good, anything less would never make sense again. Ever. Sometimes no closure is all the closure we need. I used to be the one who was looking for closure until I realized, hang on, this is my home. I open the doors. I hold all the keys. So if anyone should be closing all these open doors, it's me. I sat there in the passage, staring down doors I left ajar, expecting they'll notice it was open, cold, and hoping for help until I realized open doors won't keep me safe inside. I had to close them doors my damn self. I was staring down open doors, praying for closure like say I weren't the one holding the keys, wishing the same people who kicked down the doors in the first place will come and rescue me from me, in a cold place with high hopes. But I came to terms when sober, sometimes no closure is closure. Someone once said to me, constantly seeking closure is like looking for someone to finish what you need to eat. I placed eviction notices on squatters living in my head rent-free because sometimes no closure is all the closure we need. So lock them doors. You know, I dare you to find someone who loves you properly. I dare you to stop ignoring the cons of trauma bonds and find someone who will worship the ground you're walking on. I dare you to find someone sure and to avoid that fake safety route when you're feeling insecure. I dare you to stop online shopping for happiness and leave sadness at the checkout. I dare you to stop shopping for angels in Mon stores. In fact, I double down, dog, dare you to stop making comfort decisions because you've been so conditioned that you accept that what you're getting is a given. I triple beam dare you to believe in something different. You know it's bold to believe in magic, so I dare you to believe in love again. Go on, I dare you to fall deep. Leap if you feel froggy. I dare you to face what scares you. I dare you to follow your soul that one time again. And if you feel like you're about to backpedal, back to your defenses, I dare you let that cycle end. I double dare you to follow your heart and give happiness a chance. I dare you to act like what you're looking for actually exists, and even if you struggle to believe it, I still dare you to take that risk. 20 quid says you don't. See, I believe in myself, forever faithful. And even when things weren't great, I was still grateful. Every time my heart got broke, that shit was painful. People want to judge one look, then make a name for you, chasing waterfalls. It was awful. I'm counting rainfalls. You gave your heart to these streets. You gave your heart to these peeps. You gave your heart to everything except the things that you need. You went and gave yourself for free. Well, that's the game for you. Are you going to invest in people that's shortchanging you? Too much pain, that shit been changing you. Tell me who you think you are. Look how it's making you. And you thought it was all cool. They turned them flames on you. I ain't going to lie, this loving's been getting hard for me. Now I've got bombs in my chest guarding this heart for me. You just go hard. You want someone to go hard for you. Run the whole yard for you. How you going to give yourself to all these people that could only give half for you? I lay myself on the fire like it's a barbecue. It's funny what that heart would do. It's funny how it hardens you. Funny, gotta laugh it through. But it's emotional shit, I ain't too vocal. So if you don't love yourself, you need some soul food. And if you don't know your demons, them demons own you. Said if you don't know your demons, them demons own you. Yo, go on. What are you lot saying? And you can't pour into buckets that aren't pouring. I once sat in the sun, I had an empty bucket, empty cup, looking up, wondering why are these so dry? Reminiscing on days I was spilling, feeling drained because I've poured it into buckets I shouldn't have even peed in. Come to think of it, actually, I've poured bucket after bucket full of nothing but leaking holes in buckets that lack the capacity. Bucket after bucket through seasons of drought. I've given every drip from my cloud. Bucket after bucket, and they still looked at me dead in the eye asking why mine are so dry. I've poured, left some raining, given away oceans as a donation. Even when I was thirsty, I had to endure that. I've poured using borrowed water, pouring into cups that couldn't pour back. But I call this chapter of my life the rehydration, finding my spring. I've poured into buckets that weren't refilling. Now I'm learning how to swim. I sat there, empty bucket, empty cup, reminiscing on days I was filled with seas. But while hydrating, I had a realization. I can't pour into buckets that aren't pouring into me. You see, I have a question to those in power. How do you stay silent hearing screams of violence of children? Do you not hear their voices? As a child, I grew up to believe the world was my oyster and I can be anything I wanted to be if I just worked hard, stayed in school and did all my homework properly. Well, I'm stuck on some maths, so let's do some sums. How many children suffer from abuse and violence? 500,000? 2 million? 1? I can't count. I need more fingers and thumbs. I need more things being done. As adults, our responsibility is to protect the little one. So I said today, I'll be the change. And I hope the leaders are as well. I was inspired by the young advocates, the change makers. But real change takes a world. I speak through the voice of that little boy. I am the beat of that heartbroken little girl. If we want to be the change, then we must stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves. I know the weight feels a bit heavy. I know the burden feels a bit much. But I can't look another child in their face knowing I didn't do enough. I was told if you want to do well in this world, or this is how you get it done, you be good in school, you do your homework. Well, let's do some sums. How many people does it take to start a movement to protect our children? 400, 500, 700, or just one? Family. I didn't choose you. I love you. I hate you. I love when you aren't around, but I'll hate to lose you. Family. Strangers binded by past and by blood. For you, I give more until I've had enough. Family. I've cursed you, all the names under the sun, and I meant every single word. Everything I said, I stand on with truth. But I won't let no one else talk smack about you. That's family. We were born in the same world, yet see it different. So where the hell have you been this whole time? Feathers from the same wings, and like birds, we fly, but we are riding the same winds. We've all had losses and wins. We've all been through some things. And yes, there's dramas. I say it's you say it's me. But when push comes to shove, I'll still show unity because we're family. You're dead to me, but please don't die literally, not anytime soon. And whether this is crazy, weird, right or wrong, I'd rather hate you while you're alive than love you knowing you're gone, because that's family. I am who I am and you are who you are. I'd love for us to sing into the sunsets, but our rhythm has had way too many bumps to be singing Kumbaya. And if I could, I'll change nearly everything about you, but I wouldn't, because that would change who you are, and that's family. I didn't choose you. I love you. I hate you. I love when you aren't around, but I'll hate to lose you. Family. And don't let your past lead you. A few years ago, I had a convo with a younger me. He said, do you remember the time we felt fear? Do you remember the time we felt weak? Do you remember the time we felt second? Do you remember the time do you remember that time do you remember that time? I said, yeah, young bro, at times it felt like a war zone, but that was your time. Those feelings aren't mine anymore. These feelings are yours though. He said, how can you forget that day and that day and that day? How can you forget that pain? How can you forget who's to blame? How can you forget? How can you forget? How can you? I said, I feel you, young G. I see exactly what you're aiming at. But I left that pain with you over there. I had to step away from that. I said, I understand you. You were scared. And I'm not saying I'm cool with that, but I left that trauma with you over there because I can't move forward looking back. That's dangerous. I told my young G, listen, I hope I could be someone you can look up to, because someone once told me, if you don't heal from your wounds, you bleed on people who didn't cut you, standing there triggered, loaded with strays, hitting anyone in your sights, and that's not okay. The young me cried and said, how can you forget? How can you forget? How can you? Don't you remember that time? I said, I do, young bro, but that pain is yours. Over there. I had to step away. It's no longer mine. And one thing I learned from my mum was not all superheroes are conventional. That love and family doesn't always look textbook, but it's more about being intentional. It's understanding life might knock you, but every day you must stand up again for the second round. They say not all superheroes wear masks and capes, is true. Some wear a brave face and dressing gowns. They say not all superpowers are mysteries, is true. Some of the best, most effective superpowers is simply just consistency. You try your best through trials and tribulations and all without a trophy. You see, I had no man to show me how to be a man. My mum showed me, like, son, show some respect, kindness, and ensure you have the purest of love stored for women. Be polite, make sure you lead, and always open doors for women. It's because of you going through depths and exercising your strength that sometimes I'm just in awe of women. But I swear my heart goes out to all the mums that aren't there, and the children they've left behind. I've had friends lose their mums when I found out you don't know how tight I was holding mine. That's a strength I don't have, a weight I can't push here. And that's why I'm grateful. Yes, you need your flowers. Yes, you need that thank you. Yes, you need to be worshipped. Yes, you need your statue in the middle of Trafalgar Square. I've witnessed angels in human forms, shape-shifted as a woman with their heart laid bare. And that's why this piece goes out to my mum and all mums, whether you are here or up there. Thank you for your service. And that's the thing with being a healer. You believe you can fight for everyone, but not everyone's battle was yours to bear. I once heard that we turned into saviors because we once needed someone to save us, but that cape didn't come. There was no signal in the sky. You had to climb those buildings and fight those demons all by yourself. And now you feel you need to be what you needed to everyone else. But that isn't your war. This isn't your plight. All right, send some aid, but this isn't your fight. We try to be everyone's saviors, but that's not our cross to bear. I was talking to someone the other day. They were talking about people who's inflicted pain. They went on to say, hurt people hurt people. They had their own shit going on. Trauma blurs the lines of what's right or wrong. She said, I understand why they hurt me. And I get it, it's quite reflective, it's how people heal. But excuse me, but please don't make excuses for people who have done you dirty when you didn't deserve that. That's what I'm saying. Don't drown yourself in everyone else's sorrow. Yes, when it can work, be their nurse, but ultimately we all have our own pills to swallow. Don't be on the front line for wars that aren't yours. You can't help trying to help people. You just happen to care. But please don't put yourself through hell or subsequently misplace yourself when that's not your battle to bear. You had some wars and you feel like a veteran, but stepping into everyone's fight isn't always what's best for them. Some need to walk their own plank. Some need to find their own feet. Lend a hand, lend a sword, but don't be depleted. That's their enemy to defeat. Yes, we hold hands through hard times, but for our own sake, spirit, and sanity, we need to know when to let go and when to allow people to find their fight on their road. You know, I had to stop sacrificing my peace for people. I can't choose your life over mine, that's suicide. I can't hold my tongue to keep us one. If it's you versus I choose me. Someone once said people pleasing is a trauma response to people leaving at a time when you felt you need them. And in a way it's like we say, I'll lose me so you can stay. Listen, I've been on tables spinning plates trying to keep things in place, but my peace isn't something I can negotiate. I can't dim myself to light you. If I have to be a shadow of me, then I don't belong there. I can only be me in full HD. That's 24/7. Don't you try 720 me. I find that obscene. Sometimes you need to remind people we all have our portions, but I can't sacrifice my peace to feed you. And hate is so easy to sell because it's so cheap to buy. Its consumers have a low mental wealth. They see value in discrimination because they have low value of people and often themselves. And while hate is worth around £2 a gram, love is premium. Hate will offer you short, cheap highs, putting you on pedestals. But while hate will have you king of your community, love will have you owning the kingdom. So what you need to ask yourself is, how much is your soul worth when there's hate for sale? So let me tell you what anxiety is like. Anxiety is like watching the sun dawn behind a mountain and you've got no way to get around it. So you are consumed into utter darkness with nothing but you thinking, how can I get past this? Maybe I should climb it. Can I go round it? Will I ever see the sun again? The mountain is getting bigger and you are now 3 feet tall and around you are just walls and you have two options. Run while your legs are still tired or wait for the ground to cave in and fall. You are now being chased by the pace of your heart beating. That mountain has now grown and every single piece of your mind is simultaneously breaking down, but that mountain was just a stone. That's what anxiety is like. Yeah. Been some years since I've been active. I've seen ops from years ago. Yeah, it's been years I've grown, but deep down still wanna get shit cracking. Find it hard to let shit go. I need to work on my forgiveness. How can I bury things under the tree when my dog still ring bells like Christmas? Guys I roll with don't talk much, but that's my company, mind your business. You would think that my plug was foreign. He talks money, don't talk English. See my shooters curving goalies. What a screamer, what a finish. These days I just want peace, but please don't cross me, I'm not Jesus. Some days I might turn cheek, some days it's Ed Top season. These days I'm slow to react since I learned counting to 10 and breathing. My business, lately I've been in shower man mode. So for people I'm Malcolm X, for the family I'm Al Capone. My dog don't bend nor fold, you see that gangster, that's my lineage, yeah. Listen, this is main character season and you owe it to yourself to show up every day. You've got to show up like you're on stage and people have paid to see you. Don't play yourself like an extra. Show up and give this world headline energy like your audience needs you, and the best version, that Mr. Vegas, I am blessed version. This is your destiny. Child, go give this world Beyonce. Even on your worst day, you better show up like it's your birthday and it's the day after Thursday and it's payday. You are the director. This is your script. Every morning you have a casting call from the universe. Don't you dare ignore it. Listen, rewrite your story. Why not? Have page 6 come after page 8. Have page 10 come after page 12. Your storyline doesn't have to be in order, but you need to show up for your damn self. Show up like the sun does. Show up like the stems and the soul, because you deserve your flowers and play that leading role. Be the hero. Find the one. Take all the takes you need. Just make sure you show up for yourself. Main character energy.